Most men believe they understand female pleasure by focusing only on the visible areas, the clitoris, breasts, or lips. But real pleasure is much more complex. Women's bodies have subtle, hidden zones that respond to gentle touch, rhythm, and attention. Ignoring these areas often leaves deeper sensations undiscovered, limiting intimacy. Real exploration involves slowing down, observing her reactions, and tuning into less obvious areas like the inner thighs, neck, and internal zones. Touching with curiosity rather than assumption can transform physical connection into an emotional bond. This awareness allows men to adapt, respond, and heighten pleasure over time. When men expand beyond the obvious, they unlock responsiveness, anticipation, and intimate excitement that goes far beyond surface stimulation. Pleasure isn't just about technique, it's about understanding, attention, and connection. The moment men explore beyond what they think they know, intimacy reaches entirely new depths. Everyone talks about the G-spot, yet most men still don't stimulate it effectively. Many assume it's just a single point, but it's a sensitive area on the anterior wall of the vagina that responds to specific pressure and angles. The key is not brute force, but gentle, consistent motion, paired with patience and communication. Women often feel pleasure there as waves that ripple throughout the pelvis and core, sometimes stronger than clitoral stimulation alone. Misunderstanding this spot can lead to frustration, discomfort, or missed opportunities. Proper exploration involves listening to feedback, experimenting slowly, and syncing movement with her body's natural rhythm. The G-spot is less about hitting a mark and more about learning her unique response. When approached correctly, it unlocks deep, intense pleasure, often leading to sensations women rarely experience. Understanding this spot is about attentiveness and curiosity, not just following myths. Mastering the G-spot transforms intimacy into something immersive and electrifying. Few men know about the anterior fornix erogenous zone, hidden behind the cervix inside the vagina. This area is highly sensitive, and when stimulated correctly, it produces intense waves of pleasure that can overwhelm the senses. Unlike external touch, this zone responds to subtle pressure, rhythm, and angles. Exploring it requires slow, patient movement, clear communication, and attentiveness to her reactions. Many women report sensations that go beyond physical pleasure, creating emotional and full-body responses. This spot is rarely discussed because it's internal and requires learning anatomy, trust, and confidence to stimulate effectively. Ignoring it limits sexual experiences to superficial touch. By understanding and exploring the anterior fornix, men can access a level of intimacy and pleasure most women rarely encounter. Curiosity, care, and connection are the keys to unlocking this hidden zone and turning ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Women's pleasure is never purely physical. It's neurological and psychological. Arousal depends on the brain as much as the body. Mental stimulation, anticipation, emotional security, and trust amplify the effects of physical touch. Stress, distractions, or emotional distance can diminish sensitivity even in the most erogenous zones. Men who focus solely on technique miss the bigger picture. Pleasure is enhanced by attention, communication, and emotional connection. Slow caresses, eye contact, and verbal encouragement prime the mind for sensation, making even subtle touches feel extraordinary. Understanding this connection allows men to combine physical technique with emotional presence, creating deeply satisfying experiences. Pleasure isn't just about anatomy. It's about engaging the brain, body, and heart together. Recognizing the psychological component transforms intimacy from mechanical to deeply fulfilling, turning simple touch into an experience that resonates emotionally and physically. No two women are the same, and assumptions rarely lead to maximum pleasure. Open communication about preferences, pace, and comfort is essential. Patience allows exploration without pressure, creating safety and trust. Asking questions, paying attention to verbal and nonverbal cues, and adjusting movements accordingly turns a casual encounter into a shared discovery. Many men miss hidden pleasure spots because they rush or ignore feedback. Slow, attentive exploration allows both partners to learn what works and what doesn't. Curiosity paired with patience not only increases physical satisfaction, but also builds emotional intimacy. Women respond to partners who are engaged, attentive, and willing to learn. By prioritizing communication and patience, men can uncover hidden pleasure areas, intensify sensations, and create a sexual experience that is mutually satisfying. The effort invested in understanding her body pays off in trust, excitement, and deeper connection. There's no universal map for female pleasure. The same technique may thrill one woman and feel uncomfortable to another. Anatomy, sensitivity, and preferences vary widely, making personalized exploration essential. Men who rely on assumptions or one-size-fits-all techniques miss the opportunity to discover what uniquely excites their partner. Observing responses, asking gentle questions, and adjusting technique based on feedback allows partners to co-create pleasure. Recognizing individual differences also prevents frustration and builds confidence for both partners. Every woman has her own hidden zones, preferred pressure, and rhythms that create maximum pleasure. Men who take time to learn her body demonstrate respect, attentiveness, and emotional intelligence, enhancing intimacy. Understanding that pleasure is unique encourages exploration, curiosity, and experimentation. By appreciating and responding to her individuality, men unlock sensations and connections that generic techniques simply cannot achieve. Rushing through intimacy often misses the most sensitive zones. Slow, deliberate touch awakens hidden areas and allows the nervous system to respond fully. Gentle exploration heightens anticipation and intensifies sensations, making even subtle touches feel powerful. Using different pressures, angles, and rhythms while paying attention to reactions increases sensitivity and arousal. This approach allows men to discover new zones, like the anterior fornix or inner thigh clusters, that are often overlooked. Slow exploration also fosters trust and emotional safety, which are critical for deep pleasure. Women are more likely to respond intensely when they feel valued and understood. The process of gradual discovery often creates experiences far more powerful than rapid or forceful stimulation. When men slow down, they unlock hidden pleasure, build connection, and transform intimacy into an immersive, shared adventure. Patience and attentiveness turn curiosity into unforgettable sensations. A woman's mental state profoundly affects her physical response. Stress, fatigue, or distraction reduces sensitivity, while relaxation, comfort, and arousal amplify it. Setting the mood through ambiance, gentle touch, and emotional connection increases receptivity to hidden pleasure zones. Music, eye contact, soft words, and slow movements help the body relax and respond more intensely. Relaxation also allows men to explore areas that require patience, such as the anterior fornix, without causing discomfort. Women's bodies react to trust and comfort as much as to technique, meaning mood and environment are integral to pleasure. By creating a relaxed, attentive atmosphere, men can awaken hidden zones and produce sensations that go far beyond basic stimulation. Pleasure becomes a combination of physical, emotional, and environmental factors. Understanding this synergy enhances intimacy and makes sexual experiences more powerful and fulfilling for both partners. Many hidden pleasure zones respond to very specific angles and pressures. Blindly applying the same motion often misses their full potential. Small adjustments, subtle changes, and careful observation allow men to discover what triggers maximum arousal. Internal zones like the G-spot or anterior fornix require the right curve, depth, and pressure for optimal response. External areas, like the neck or inner thighs, are sensitive to touch direction and intensity. Experimentation requires curiosity, communication, and attentiveness to feedback. Men who are willing to adjust and explore beyond assumptions uncover hidden pleasures that are impossible to achieve with routine motions. By combining technique with observation and creativity, they activate zones that produce stronger, longer-lasting sensations. Experimenting safely transforms intimacy into a playful, shared journey of discovery. Openness and responsiveness turn ordinary touch into extraordinary, deeply satisfying experiences. External stimulation is only part of the story. Internal zones like the G-spot or anterior fornix often generate sensations that ripple through the pelvis, core, and even the whole body. These waves of pleasure are distinct from clitoral stimulation and can produce more intense, immersive orgasms. Men who neglect internal spots miss opportunities for profound connection and heightened arousal. Activating these zones requires slow, consistent pressure, attentive observation, and careful communication. Each woman's response varies, so flexibility and feedback are essential. Discovering these hidden areas deepens intimacy and allows for experiences that feel electric and transformative. Internal stimulation can produce pleasure that feels both physical and emotional, creating a bond that external touch alone cannot replicate. Understanding the power of internal zones elevates sexual experiences from ordinary to extraordinary, enhancing pleasure and connection for both partners. Many men rely on pornography or myths for sexual guidance, which often leads to misunderstandings about female pleasure. Real women respond differently than what's portrayed on screen. Learning actual anatomy, observing reactions, and experimenting in a safe, communicative way produces better results. Knowledge of erogenous zones, nerve density, and internal structure allows men to stimulate areas that provide intense pleasure. Porn rarely shows realistic reactions, depth, or variation, so relying on it can create frustration. Education, patience, and exploration are more effective than imitation. Understanding anatomy provides insight into hidden zones like the G-spot, anterior fornix, and other internal clusters, increasing satisfaction. Knowledge, curiosity, and responsiveness produce intimacy that's authentic and powerful. By learning the body rather than following false models, men create experiences that are pleasurable, connected, and memorable, surpassing anything scripted or artificial. The ultimate secret to discovering hidden pleasure is understanding that intimacy is a shared experience. It's not about achieving a goal, but about mutual exploration and connection. Curiosity, patience, communication, and attention allow both partners to discover new sensations together. Listening to feedback, adjusting touch, and observing reactions create a cycle of pleasure that is responsive and evolving. Men who prioritize shared experience over performance unlock hidden zones naturally, heightening satisfaction for both partners. Pleasure becomes a cooperative journey, combining physical technique with emotional presence. This mindset transforms sexual encounters from mechanical to deeply connected and fulfilling. When intimacy is shared, trust grows, emotional bonds strengthen, and hidden pleasures become accessible. Recognizing pleasure as a collaborative experience allows both partners to explore, experiment, and enjoy sensations that are deeper, more meaningful, and far more intense than they ever imagined.